Walking into our form room, I distinctly remember the overwhelming feeling of knowing absolutely no one. Then, an extremely bubbly redhead came and spoke to me. Quickly put me at ease. Megan McClymont, you were the first person I ever spoke to at St. Francis. You introduced me to so many people. When I felt like an outsider, you welcomed me in. And I cannot thank you enough for that. Since then, you've had countless moments which could only be described as Megan moments. The most famous, or should I say infamous, was of course the popcorn incident. You're an incredible actress, and I'm sure we can all expect to see you on television in the future as the star of a new period drama. I wish you all the best for the future. Alice, I am going to miss your grin. No matter what the situation is, you can always guarantee that Alice will be smiling. Alice is probably the safest driver ever. She only ever got 1 minor in her driving test, and as such is at the top class leaderboard in the common room. We're unable to walk to and from chemistry without a chorus of preps calling, Alice! After her and try to grab onto her and never let go. You clearly have a way with children. You're going to make an amazing teacher, and I wish you all the best for your gap year in South Africa. Zoe, this year you have consumed at least 50 bags of Thai chili sauce and about 700 litres of Diet Coke. That was only her breakfast. Like myself, Zoe used to have speech and drama lessons. And I remember they used to make up excuses to skip these lessons. She would tell our teacher that our year group was on a school trip. So I would then turn up to my lesson, as usual, completely unaware of Zoe's plan. I'd then spend the next 30 minutes of my lesson trying to justify why I wasn't on a fake school trip. Fortunately, Zoe's excuses are a thing of the past. I wish you all the best for you. Ellie, I first got to know you through playing hockey. I remember how one time we were in the minibus and we were halfway into a hockey tournament when Miss Roberts asked us to do a head count of everyone else on the bus. And that was when we realised that we were 1 person short. So Miss Roberts asked the captain to check on the list who was missing, only for us to realise that we had in fact left our captain. We arrived back in the school car park to find a very confused and lost looking Ellie. I'm going to miss all the funny moments we have in biology and geography, and I wish you all the best for Lancaster. Thomason, I will forever associate Garnier hand cream with you. I never have dry hands if Thomason is around. You have the most amazing work ethic. I often hear about how many hours you spend studying every day, and you put us all to shame. Only a couple of weeks ago, your alarm went off in biology at 7 the time that you normally wake up during the holidays. It was then that we discovered that you're definitely the type of person who works in the evenings rather than the mornings. Hopefully I'll see you in Birmingham next year. Jasper, I think it's fair to say that over the past 2 years, we've all had those days when we've been suffering from Jasper wardrobe envy. And in our desperation to drop everything to run out to the nearest shop selling her awesome necklace or shoes, we beg her to tell us where she's been shopping, only for us to be told that she bought her clothes in Hong Kong. I think our favourite item which she bought this year was a phone case, which looks and smells like Chanel No. 5. I wish you all the best of luck for next year. Whenever I've been at school late and I think that the whole sixth form area has been abandoned, you can always guarantee that Bisma will be there, lurking, with some kind of interesting food in her. You and Jasper are completely inseparable, and it's rare to see one of you without the other. You have the same lessons, and your clothes are always colour coordinated. I miss having maths lessons with you, where we would all try and practice our Irish accent. We never quite mastered it, so you'll have to teach us before we leave. I wish you all the best for your gap year. Edith, I remember how last year we would work together in biology practicals, and we were always super efficient. This didn't always work in our favour, however. I remember how in one lesson we were unsure of one of the steps of the procedure, and no one else had quite got that far yet. So we did what we assumed was right. It was not. Mrs. Simpkin then stopped the entire lesson and told the whole class to gather round and look at Edith and Gem's experiments to demonstrate exactly what you should do. Edith is incredibly polite and will always knock on the classroom door, even if she's supposed to be in that lesson. person. You're going to make an incredible physiotherapist. I wish you all the best. Bella, you always seem so calm. Even in chemistry practicals, where most of us are desperately trying not to spill iodine on the desk, which inevitably leads to hands shaking so violently that the tremors could be measured on the Richter scale. Iodine balls rolling onto the floor only to melt and leave rather indiscreet brown stains everywhere. But Bella will be calm with all this going on around her. I will always remember the time you somehow managed to make a chemistry experiment. Splash everywhere. And despite you, Alison and Dr. Wenger looking around for ages, trying to figure out where the solution is splattered, it was only when Eileen returned to her seat half an hour later to discover that her work looked diseased with yellow spots. I wish you all the best for the future. Georgia, you're probably the only person who can spell your own name wrong. Whenever we'd have lunch sitting on the field, you would never sit down, but instead you would choose to squat. You're never seen with a hair out of place. You're obsessed with Christmas, and so whenever anyone would ask whether it's too early to start playing Christmas music or start decorating, Georgia would appear to give a defiant no and declare that it's time to start using Cadbury snowbites. I wish you all the best for university. Sophia, you always have a cup of tea in your hand or a hot water bottle. Sophia is known for producing the most epic videos. Last year, when we had maths with Mrs. Hiddles, we would be next door to the history class. This, of course, meant that we could always hear crazy cheering in your lessons, which, when we investigated, was down to your hilarious videos. Aside from your history videos, you did, of course, direct and edit other videos for the sixth form, including one for this year's sixth form review. And I suspect that a music video award from MTV will be arriving any day now for St. Francis style. Sarah Onrod, I'm going to miss the crazy random stories you always told in Bible things that you've read. Sarah also took AS Physics last year. When we went on a physics ski trip, Sarah volunteered to go down the slope first. She made it look effortless. So when I went down next screaming, how do I stop? When we fell over while the instructor just laughed, I was absolutely gutted that I didn't have the same talent as Sarah did. So maybe 10 years down the line, Sarah, when I finally pluck up the courage to put on another pair of skis, maybe you can teach me. Polly, I remember when you, Edith, and Asta tried to teach Phoebe and I to count in Cantonese, so that we could compare answers in physics without being Unfortunately, I'm not much of a linguist myself, so I didn't have much success. You're a very kind person who's always there to lend a hand, whether it's helping people lift things, like the disastrous hoodies, or when you helped me off the floor multiple times when we were skiing. Whenever the word polymer or polymerization is said in chemistry, it leads to the entire class giggling because it sounds like your name. I wish you all the best for the future. Ivy, I remember being absolutely gutted when I missed the first physics lesson when you spoke. I felt like Charlotte, whenever any of us have been battling with the sound and lighting system in the theatre, you can always count on Charlotte to be there to sort out our technical problems. I think it's fair to say that without you, Charlotte, last year the sixth form common room would have been uninhabitable. In fact, without you, there probably would have been a localised cholera outbreak in the kitchen, which you always kept so clean despite the whole sixth form being so messy. I wish you all the best for you. G. You are one of the most determined and passionate people I know. You always stand up for what you believe in, and I really admire that. You are such a good president of the Sixth Form Society, and have left very big shoes to fill. I'm often surprised that you haven't lost your voice from all the screaming you were making playing Mafia. We have a tray of ice cubes in the freezer, which is dedicated to G, who has a strange ability to eat ice. I wish you all the best for uni. I hope you always stay as determined and headstrong as you are now. Nicole. Nicole is known for posting pictures of amazing As a result, the last time Emily, Eileen and I were in London, we hunted down a place called Snowflake Gelato because the picture of our ice cream made us insanely jealous. Anyway, after that ice cream, I would trust Nicole with my life. She's definitely good at making decisions. You're an amazing photographer, and I wish you all the best for you. Samina, I think I really got to know you through all those years of St. John's. From knitting to CPR, we enjoyed it all. You're officially the most indecisive person in the after it took so long to decide what colour levers to go for. You have the neatest, skinniest handwriting ever, and your work always looks immaculate. In fact, not only your work, but also your clothes. You'll never see Samina wearing anything with a crease in it. You're such a kind person, and you're very reliable. I wish you all the best for university. Julie, a few months ago, we had to make videos in biology to explain xenotransplantation, which is when animal organs are transplanted into people. We had the privilege of watching the video which Julie's group produced. The video began with Julie walking down Broadway, eating Haribo's, which she's obsessed with, and then collapsing because she's eaten too many. Later on in the video, after Julie's transplant, she spoke about how much she loves pigs because of how pretty they are. You have a great sense of humour, and you'll always be remembered for your love of football, and I hope that someday you'll have your own club, because I think it'll be amazing. I wish you all the best for the future. Phoebe Teller. The craziest of us all. Definitely the tallest, but just to be sure you always wear heels to make us seem like whenever Mr. Reese walks into the common room, there are generally two responses we have. Either we run and hide, because we think he needs someone to give a reading in chapel, or everyone turns their heads to look at Phoebe. Whenever anyone wants anything from town, it's normally Phoebe who ends up getting it. It's not uncommon for Phoebe to walk into the common room at the end of lunch with a bag full of cookies and brownies. You're incredibly kind, funny, and we're all going to miss you. Kieran. I still find it funny how every time we go to the minibus, you're hoping that the bus is full so that the school will get you a taxi. When we were running a touch, we discovered Kieran's obsession with Freddos. So I cannot begin to explain how excited Kieran was when she learned that they make Freddos containing popping candy. In year 11, we went to a goat farm in France. And the owner asked for a volunteer to milk a goat. We all took 5 steps back. Kieran, however, stepped up to the challenge and took one for the team. I wish you all the best for the future. Natalie, I remember how we were all absolutely delighted when you passed your driving test. But to this day, you're probably the least likely to be able to parallel park. It was only a few weeks ago when Hannah Davis had to go and help you park, only for you to drive away about an hour later and lose your parking space. Over the past year, there hasn't been a day when there hasn't been someone looking for you. But now you're in the room, I just want to say that I know it can't have been easy joining our crazy year group in September, and we're all going to miss you and your witty personality. Laura, you're one of the kindest people I know, and you always have other people's best interests at heart. You're often found in the common room practicing a dance routine with your head. And if not dancing, Laura will be singing. I can guarantee that you'll then have that song in your head for the rest of the day. I think that the teachers would be surprised at how often people are found singing hymns in the common room. I think it's fair to say that the history students are definitely the loudest of us all. And Laura is no exception. You're never afraid to voice your opinion, and that's a great quality to have. I'm sure you'll be successful no matter what path you take, but I expect to see you in a Broadway musical in the near future. Emily McDonald-Thomas, you're probably the only person I've ever seen bring in cold roast potatoes for lunch. When we were on our practice video the exhibition, a crazy sheep decided to charge me while my rucksack was caught in the gate. While the others looked on, laughing hysterically and shocked my face. Emily tried to shoo the sheep away with her back. The sheep was fearless, but I definitely appreciated your efforts. You're an incredibly loyal person and always stand by your friends, which is a great quality which I really admire. I wish you the best for the future. Harriet, you're such a kind and considerate person. We're so grateful for all the photos you took for the yearbook. You did so much for it, and without your photos, it would have been very bare. Whenever a school equestrian event is mentioned, we know that you would have been involved, winning as always. Your love for horses and animals often extends to your wardrobe, and it's rare for you to be seen without an item of clothing with tiny animals printed on. I know that the Royal Agricultural University is going to be perfect for you, and I wish you the best of luck for your time there. Yasmin, maybe not the first one to hand in coursework. Or to be awake in the morning. But you're incredibly witty and sassy and always fun to be around. I remember the time a group of us went to Elora and we discovered that you knew the entire menu of by heart. You always post such interesting things on Facebook, and I really admire how you never shy away from issues you think are important. Your passion and determination always shines through, and I wish you all the best for the future. Emma, everyone in the sixth form knows how you and Emily have your own little area in the corridor. Whenever anyone's looking for you or Emily, that's where we'll point them. You're rarely there, however, because you're normally at a music rehearsal of some sort. You're an incredibly talented musician. Whenever you doubted your ability and thought you wouldn't get any offers from any conservatoires, we all knew that you would get in, because anyone can see your passion and musical ability from a mile away. I wish you all the best. Alison, whenever we had test practicals in chemistry, our class would get extremely competitive and race to the chemistry lab to try and get there early. And you'll probably think that we're all completely mad, but our aim was to try and get a back row seat. So after everyone chasing each other to the other building, we'd all queue up waiting to go in. But Alison would be one of the last to arrive. Despite this, somehow, over the next few minutes, she'd managed to sneak away. And act as if she'd be there the whole time. You're always so cool, calm and collected. I wish you all the best for the future. Michelle Liu. I don't think I've ever seen Michelle without her phone in her hand. You're truly amazing at chemistry, and everyone's always competing with you. I've heard that, like Alison, Michelle is also determined to get a seat in the back row and test practicals. Michelle might seem sweet and kind, but as soon as she enters the chemistry lab, she takes no prisoners. You're fun, clever, and I know you'll go far. Adiola, I'm going to miss your random moments. From declaring your undying love for pancakes, to declaring your hatred of grass. A few months ago, Adiola was bored, and decided to come and sit in our maths classroom while we waited for Mrs. Taylor. Needless to say, Mrs. Taylor was extremely confused when she walked in, and you pretended that you wanted to pick up A2 level maths with nearly 2 months left. I'll never forget that one completer in SIT, which is known as Adiola's completer, which everyone associates with you. You're always so optimistic, and I hope that you never change that about yourself. Hannah Davis. I remember when you first came to St. Francis on your induction day. We all thought you were so quiet. I remember how at the end of year 11, we were all playing a game of rounders. And Clara decided to take her watch to put on the side. However, amongst the excitement, there was some sort of miscommunication. And Hannah Davis saw a white object fly towards her, and with a rounders button went up. She bought her replacement, but I think it's still really one of the funniest things that ever happened to students. Hannah, I admire your ability to have multiple jobs and still find time to do your homework and revise. I think you're going to be great at fashion marketing, and I wish you the best of luck with that. Yvonne, you're such a calm person and always so sweet and kind to everyone. You're always wearing something extremely stylish and chic, and I think we're all quite jealous of your wardrobe. Often found in the art room, Yvonne is an amazing photographer and a very creative person. I saw the photographs which you'd taken of G for the photography competition, and I thought they were amazing. I'm sure that you'll be a very successful artist in the future. I wish you all the best. C. Chen. Last month was spent trying to crazily finish the yearbook, and C. Chen was one of the last to log on to the website to fill in her profile. It turns out that it took her so long because she's addicted to computer games. For a long time, I thought that C. Chen and Catherine were different people. I felt really bad when it turned out it wasn't just me. A lot of us didn't realise that you had two identities. couldn't go for a day without having at least 3 ice creams. And in maths, you don't go a lesson saying more than 4 words. Outside of lessons, you're known to have a great sense of humour, and you're always very calm. I wish you all the best for the future. Audrey. Audrey is rarely seen without Eva. And with Eva's new haircut, they could probably pass as twins. The business and economics classes have told me that you're always the first to understand your concepts and lessons. Whenever anyone doesn't understand anything, Miss Simmons will say, "Well, Audrey gets it." I wish you all the best at university, and I know you'll be a great architect. You're such a creative person, and I know that you're so passionate about architecture. Eva, I think you'll probably be remembered by many of the boarders for your ability to sing career with Audrey. Of course, we'll never forget how you disappeared for 2 weeks because you were stuck in Hong Kong because you lost your passport. Maths just wasn't the same without you. I think we were all a little jealous of how you managed to escape all 3 maths bombs. I wish you all the best for the future. Asta, if anyone in the sixth form ever has any difficulties in maths, you are the person we turn to. Whenever we find a difficult question we can't do, Zoe is always there, holding your solutions to your You're always so quiet in lessons, but as soon as you get to the common room, you can be heard from a mile away. You have a great sense of humour, and you're incredibly clever. I'm sure that you'll enjoy LSE, and I wish you the best of luck. Estelle, I only really got to know you since being in the sixth form. Before that, you were the girl who was famous for the hedge rolling videos. I'm really glad that we've become closer friends over the past year, and I'm going to miss our cheese roll speech with Samina, Michelle, and Eileen. You have a great sense of humour and always have something funny to say, whatever the situation. You've worked so hard over the past few months, and I know it's going to pay off. I wish you all the best of luck for university. Sarah Jones, you will always be my chemistry buddy for life. I think you'll always be remembered for your mysterious iPod, which contains unflattering photos. I mean, everyone. We've exchanged countless sunburn stories, and it's not uncommon for people to rate the redness of their face on a scale of 1 to 7. You'll go down in history books for your sass, and your love for Harry Potter and Doctor Who. I wish you all the best for next year. Hannah McLaren, I still remember our first PE lesson with Miss Roberts. As we stood side by side on the field, a little bit terrified, with our matching hockey sticks, Miss Roberts said to us, "One of you's a McLaren, and the other's a Smith." I don't know which. I'm going to miss the debates we have in geography, particularly the controversial geography versus history debate. We've all seen you grow in confidence over the past few years, particularly the sixth form, and I think we all feel a little bit like proud mothers whenever we hear you sing. Phoebe Gwynn, Michelle Wong, and Eileen Chen. I think it's fair to say that without the 3 of you, I would still be stood somewhere in the middle of the peak district. Right down and refusing to climb up yourself. I'm very grateful that you dragged me forward, literally. I have so many memories of our expeditions, from Eileen falling in a bog, and down Jacob's ladder, the 4 of us sprinting through fields to escape seemingly angry cows. Michelle, we've been in the same group since bronze, so we've had some crazy times. From running across the dual carriageway screaming, circles of uncertainty in Sedona, and I'm ironing your clothes with a frying pan. And so many more funny memories. Michelle, you're such a talented artist, and I know that you have an incredible career ahead of you. Phoebe, you truly were a lifesaver when it came to Dragon's Apprentice, and you're such a dependable person. You're extremely clever, and I know that you'll succeed at whatever you put your mind to. Eileen, you're such a good friend, and I'm going to miss you so much next year. You've done so much for the school, playing the organ in chapel, and I'm sure that assemblies won't be the same without you next year. I'm sure that you're going to love Cambridge, and I couldn't imagine you going anywhere else. Emily Mackey. Over Christmas, Eileen, Emily and I went to London. We were outside the Tower of London in the evening, but it was really dark. And in Emily's excitement of wanting to take a photo, she managed to run at full speed and miss a step that was nearly a metre. Let's just say there were lots of people tourists. I know that everyone here will miss your impressive baking skills. I'm going to miss all of our 15-minute trips into town, stopping with junk food, the Dragon's Apprentice, and speedy registrations with Dr. Fenger. You're always there to lend a helping hand and are a very reliable and trustworthy friend. I'm sure you'll make an incredible doctor. Over the past 7 years, whether you joined at the age of 3 or in year 13, I've had the privilege of getting to know every one of you. You'll be sorely missed. I wish you all the best for all your future endeavours, wherever they may take you. It would feel a little strange saying goodbye now, because I'm going to be seeing you all over the next few weeks. Probably tomorrow. What I will say, however, is this. Writing this speech is probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Trying to boil down all those years of memories into a few minutes. It's been a bit more than a few. There are so many things I could say about all of you, and would be here until next year if I spoke about them all. I'm incredibly proud to be part of the Leaders 2014 group. It was a privilege to be head girl, and I want to take this opportunity to thank all those who made it possible. Mrs. McGinty, Miss Wallace, and of course G, Michelle, Sophia, Emily, and Eileen. I couldn't have done any of it without your support. Ultimately, I couldn't have asked for a better year group. Over the past 2 years, you've all shown such resilience through exams and worked together as an amazing team throughout all the organising that we've done. The fashion show was of course an immense success, as was the sixth form review, and I'm sure that we'll all go out on a high next week after the Leaders Assembly. I'll hold the memories of my time here close to my heart, and I don't think I'll ever forget any one of you. My time here at St. Francis has definitely shaped me as a person, and all of you have made St. Francis